All right, so we're ready to put in our sub panels now. We've got our sound deadening in. We ran our wiring for solar into the AC through the wall. The AC and fan are in, and we've got our insulation in and the Go Code trim in. You can watch, we just did a video on the Go Code trim install. You can watch that one if you need to know how to get that installed. And all right, well, let's get cracking. We'll start with the floor and then we'll move on to the walls and see. Okay, here's our panels. This is the whole kit. This is the floor and this is the subfloor. It has these routed out holes in it for the self tappers. So let's start with that one, and we'll key off the back edge and line it up with the threshold on the rear door. Okay, so the subfloor starts with this rear panel and it keys off the back of the threshold. So there's a little round over right here. So you just bring it right up to that. Got that lined up. That lined up. And then you'll just measure off each side to get it center. Once it's centered, we'll use the self-tapper to screw it in and build off that with the second and third one, and then lay down the 3 finished floor panels on top of that and screw them down. Got the sub panels in on the floor. Now I'm gonna put the finished floor panels down, screw them in with a 1-inch screw, and then we'll start building our walls up from there. Okay, so we've got the first panel, finished panel in, and it'll just line up with the back. And so just make sure that you got evenly off the sides. We'll put the other 2 in, make sure everything's all lined up correctly, and then screw them down with a 1-inch screw. Okay, so finished floor's in, gonna screw that down, and then we'll get going on the walls. All right, so our method for installing the walls sub panels is to join them with the L-track first so that we get perfect alignment around the flares and in the seams, and we're not fighting to align these seams in the van. So we just get these together, apply the L-track, let it go over a couple of holes here, and we're just going to hand tighten this side and the top. And then we'll go back with the ratchet and finish them off. So then this goes in as one piece. We'll use the self-tappers, get that into the wall, pull these off, put on the finished panel, and then put the L-track back on. So let's get these in and ready to go in the van. Okay, so you just hand tighten these at first. And then go in with the socket. And finish those off. All right, just a note for alignment on this panel. This seam in the C column, we just line it up with that all the way up and down, and that aligns it perfectly. And then we build off of this with our next two panels. All right, so now we're ready to install the ceiling panels, and the way we do that is we align them with these factory holes that are on center in the ceiling. There's one here and one back here. So we just put these longer bolts through the panel for alignment, and we're gonna lift that up into place. There. Get that lined up on the hole. Right there. And then grab our third hand to help us out. Get that in place. And then just check the alignment here. And check the alignment here, that looks good. Okay. Right on center there. And then just gonna measure the sides and make sure that it's even and straight. Just to double check. You're pretty good once these points are in, they're right on center. So we'll screw this in, and then we'll build off of this with our front and our rear panel. And then we're ready for the finished panels. All right, now we're ready for our next panel, which we've got to get it tucked under the headliner here and then fit in with this panel here. So let's get that next piece in. This last sub panel. Here, just fit it to the other one. Ease right into that. Third hand. Help you out while you adjust it. Alright, that guy's in. Okay, so some tools you're going to need to install the kit. A nice driver with a square head bit is great to have. A tape measure, a mallet to persuade your panels when needed, and this is a T30 star head bit for putting in your bolts in your L-track. And that's basically it. Another great thing to have is one of these third hands if you don't have anybody helping you out, this will hold your panels in place on the walls and ceiling. And you can get this at fastcap.com. I'll have a link to everything you need down below.